Hi guys, it's Papa. Just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. It really helps me know that I'm putting out good material. In the last video, we talked about Felsic igneous rocks and learned all about them. In this video, we're going to talk about intermediate igneous rocks. We're going to talk about their characteristics, the minerals they contain. We're going to talk about how they formed, and then we're going to look at a bunch of pictures of them. So if you like this video and it's educational, please do subscribe. That helps me a lot. And here we go, intermediate igneous rocks. So what do we mean when we say intermediate igneous rocks? Well, we know felsic igneous rocks are high in quartz and potassium feldspar. These are felsic minerals. We may also know that mafic rocks like basalt are low in quartz and potassium feldspar and high in mafic minerals like pyroxene and calcium feldspar. Intermediate igneous rocks have a little bit of felsic minerals in them, a little bit of mafic minerals in them. They're kind of in between felsic and mafic. So these intermediate igneous rocks have less quartz in them than felsic rocks like granite, but they have more quartz in them than mafic rocks like basalt. They also have a kind of feldspar that has a combination of sodium and calcium in it and no potassium. And that mixture of sodium and calcium is more sodium rich in these intermediate rocks. They call that kind of feldspar plagioclase feldspar. And so we could say it's sodium rich plagioclase feldspar. Also, intermediate rocks have a lot of biotite in them, whereas felsic rocks don't have a lot of biotite in them. So biotite has iron and magnesium in it, but not near as much iron and magnesium as the minerals in mafic rocks like basalt. And finally, we can have hornblende, the mineral hornblende in these intermediate rocks, which is similar in its element content to biotite, except it has more iron and magnesium, and it's much harder physically than the biotite. Here's that drawing again that shows the subduction process and the volcanic island chain or volcanic continental mountain chain that's produced by subduction. In this stratovolcano, you see the white stuff at the top. That's the felsic rock like the granite and the tuff. And in the square, you can see the speckled rock, which is the intermediate igneous rocks that we're going to talk about. And the subduction process is the main way that these intermediate igneous rocks are produced. And by the way, rock buddies, the terms felsic rocks, intermediate rocks, and mafic rocks applies only to igneous rocks and their metamorphic equivalents. These terms don't really apply well to sedimentary rocks. So having said that, let's take a look at some intermediate igneous rock pictures and talk about the minerals they contain. Here we go. Okay, the first intermediate igneous rock we're going to look at is called diorite. Diorite is similar to granite in that it is an intrusive igneous rock. It stays in the ground. It does not come out of the ground. And diorite looks a lot like granite, except it's darker. It has a lot more dark mineral in it than granite. In this picture of diorite, you can see a lot of black splotches there. Those are going to be some combination of the minerals Biotite and Hornblende, and later on I'll show you how to tell the difference between Biotite and Hornblende. There are also lots of white blotches. That would be the sodium-rich Sodiumfeldspar that has a combination of sodium and calcium in it, but mostly sodium. It is also called plagioclase feldspar. And there are just a few little gray or clear splotches of quartz crystals there too. In California, the 400-mile-long Sierra Nevada mountain range is composed mostly of diorite. But how did this intrusive igneous rock get on the surface? Well, about 40 million years ago, action along the San Andreas Fault in California began to pull and stretch the land crust of the whole western United States. It broke the land crust into pieces. Huge pieces fell down and other pieces were pushed up. And the Sierra Nevada block of diorite was pushed up high. The rocks on top of it were eroded off over many thousands of years, exposing these fabulous mountains. If diorite magma erupts out onto the surface, it's now called a different rock, and that is andesite lava. So let's look at some andesite lava. Andesite lava contains the same minerals as diorite, its underground equivalent: quartz, sodium/calcium feldspar, biotite, and hornblende. Here are some examples of andesite lava, an extrusive intermediate igneous rock. It looks pretty different from its underground equivalent diorite, yes? Andesite lava is named after the Andes Mountains in South America because they have such an abundance of andesite lava composing them. Andesite lava comes in various colors, from these pinkish ones to gray, red, even very dark gray. And oftentimes you can see white feldspar specks there. When a volcanic island chain or a volcanic mountain range that are full of diorite, pluton, and andesite lava are involved in a crashing event, the heat and pressure from the crashing and the burial of these rocks causes them to become metamorphic rocks. So let's take a look at the metamorphic equivalents of diorite, pluton, and andesite lava. The metamorphic equivalent of diorite and andesite is called Biotite Hornblende Gneiss. The key word here is Gneiss, which means it's metamorphic. The words biotite and hornblende tell you that those are predominant minerals in these rocks. But Biotite Hornblende Gneiss does contain about the same mineral configuration as both diorite and andesite. If a specimen of Biotite Hornblende Gneiss has mostly biotite in it, then we can call it a Biotite Gneiss. If it has mostly hornblende in it, then we can call it a Hornblende Gneiss. But usually we lump them together, in any intermediate rock of this type we call Biotite Hornblende Gneiss. In this specimen you can see all of the black spots, which we know are going to be either biotite or hornblende or a combination. All the white spots are the plagioclase feldspar that we talked about, which is sodium rich but has both sodium and calcium in it. There's also a lot of quartz in these intermediate metamorphic rocks, but it's not as much quartz as are in the felsic rocks. Also, on the right side of this specimen, you can see a little bit of metamorphic banding that helps you know that this is a metamorphic rock. When we're dealing with rocks and the minerals in rocks, and we're thinking about dark minerals, black minerals, there are 3 black minerals that are found in rocks that I know about. One is biotite, which is pretty common in intermediate felsic rocks. The other is hornblende, which is also found in intermediate igneous rocks. And then there's pyroxene, which is found usually in mafic rocks, rocks that are high in iron and magnesium. Well, how do you tell biotite from those other black minerals? Well, the best way I know of is to give it the scratch test. Biotite is much softer than hornblende and pyroxene. So I got here a piece, it's a biotite schist, but it is just chock full of biotite. I don't know if you can see, but the shiny stuff is innumerable black biotite crystals. So I'm going to take a nickel, which is fairly soft, and try to scratch this. Can you see the scratch? Gray dust. That shows me that if a nickel can scratch this stuff, then it's pretty soft, and it would be biotite. Here's a rock that's got a lot of dark mineral, and it's also got light colored minerals in it too. It is an intermediate metamorphic rock, and I'm going to call it Biotite Hornblende Gneiss. But is this black stuff biotite mostly, or is it hornblende mostly? If it's mostly biotite, then I'll call it a Biotite Gneiss. So let me do the scratch test on it. See that scratch? That was easy to put in there, so I'm fairly certain this is biotite. And so I would call this a Biotite Gneiss, a metamorphic version of either Diorite, pluton, or Andesite lava. Here's a nice rock. A buddy of mine cut this and made a really nice smooth cut face. It's very likely Biotite Hornblende Gneiss, but is the black stuff biotite? Let's give it the scratch test. It looks to me like I made a mark, but the mark is the silvery metal of the nickel. This stuff must be mostly Hornblende Gneiss, since it was so hard to scratch. It might also be that smooth face is making it hard to scratch, but I'm going to call this rock Biotite Hornblende Gneiss. Now, truly the only way to tell whether you've got Biotite Gneiss or Biotite Hornblende Gneiss or Hornblende Gneiss is do a chemical analysis on the rock. That's beyond the scope of what we do here. So the quick and dirty nickel scratch test is a really pretty good way to decide between biotite and a harder mineral. Okay, here is a piece of rock from a quarry. This is more than likely diabase, which is a mafic rock, not an intermediate rock. But I wanted to do the scratch test on it to show you that you can't scratch it at all with a nickel. So let's go with the scratch test. It helps if you do your teeth like this. See? Nothing. I mean, there might be a little bit of stuff there, but that's the nickel shredding. So that's this material, this black mineral in here, is it biotite? Absolutely not. It's either hornblende and pyroxene, maybe a combination of them. Okay, rock buddies, I had so much fun doing this video on intermediate igneous rocks and their metamorphic equivalents. If you like it, please subscribe, and hope you guys have a great day. And this is Papa signing out and saying, happy rock hunting to all my rock buddies. Papa out.